What absolutely makes no sense. The way you join one of the dentist surgeries in my area. You have a pre-assessment appointment to become a patient. To get the pre-assessment you have to be a listed patient. To become a listed patient, you need to have the pre-assessment. They won't budge on this, and they don't take emergency patients either. I never figured it out, and went to another dentist surgery. The rules to post on r/show our thoughts. Even worse. The fact that you can buy bangs for others on r/justice is served. Pay to bang people you disagree with. Yup, some justice. You can shatter a bone, and it will heal itself. But if you get a tiny cavity you gotta get that filled. The platypus. How Hawaii has an interstate. Technically shouldn't it be an intrastate? Why customers continue to gripe at me, a lowly store employee who literally has no part in what items the store stocks, about our store being out of stock of an item. The fact that the government knows exactly how much tax you owe, but doesn't tell you unless you underpay. Dust. Something sits there and does nothing, and it gets dirty. Linking healthcare insurance to employment. My aunt was employed by Verizon for 10 years. Paid insurance premiums 10 years. Got super sick. Lost job because she was too sick to work. Lost health insurance linked to job. She was like, what the f*** is the point of having insurance if you just lose it when you get sick? How universities are charging full price to learn from home. My friend had to pay for a mandatory transit pass as part of her college fees. To take college courses from home. Also there are bullspeep fees like the campus fee people are still paying. What campus? Your house. How many people are famous, even though they have absolutely no talent? There are trash cans literally everywhere, and people still feel the need to just throw their speep on the ground. On top of that, now I'm seeing paper masks everywhere too. And as a Canadian, I legit expected more consideration. Toddlers. WTF is going on in their little brains to make absolutely no sense? Sorry, just spent a ton of time trying to get my kid to do something he wanted to do until I told him to do it. Forcing an apology. They don't mean it and only said it to appease whoever told them to apologize. They'll do it again most likely. That famous/rich people get a lot of things for free, while they are the ones that can afford everything. That I needed work experience and references from previous employers and teachers which I haven't talked to in 6 months for a stoker position at Costco right after getting out of high school. Gestures vaguely. If the way this world works ever starts to make sense to you, you need to start worrying about yourself. In America, you're in a weird limbo stage between the ages of 18 to 21. You are able to vote, join the military, take on tons of debt, get the death penalty/life sentence. Yet you can't drink, smoke or gamble. You have the responsibilities of an adult, but not the freedoms. And if you do one of those things and get arrested for it, you can be tried as an adult for being a minor. How good people who do everything right can just get peeped over and their lives destroyed in a split second. How certain people still have a large following after doing something unforgivable. Wait, what did I do? Something unforgivable. Jim, a chicken sandwich and some waffle fries. FO free. Bitch, you better ain't have no brothers. How someone can be a flat earther. I'm convinced now it's a free told you, so trip into space. That you need credit to establish credit. That many entry-level jobs require 3 to 4 years experience. That hot dogs come in packs of 5, 6, or 10 and hot dog buns only come in packs of 8. That someone can go to jail for 12 years for distribution of marijuana, but a drunk driver who kills 2 people only goes to jail for 3. I probably got more if I think about it a bit longer, haha. Cartoon sons being drawn wearing sunglasses. Like, what exactly are they protecting their eyes from? They're wearing sunglasses because they're stars, and celebrities don't always want to be recognized. I like this explanation. Magnets. How do they work? They are made up of a whole bunch of tiny magnets all facing the same way. But how do those tiny magnets work? Even tinier magnets? It's magnets all the way down. The physics and science in TV shows, especially superhero shows. Working 40 years or more of your life just to maybe have enough money to last you until you die. Terrence Howard Sky People Math. Putting a skip intro button on The Simpsons. You can drink a drink, but you can't food a food. You can feast on a feast. Hypnosis is an actual, dopey-patented, proven thing. Blows my mind. My mum apparently went to a hypnotist so she can quit smoking. And it worked. Can't touch a cigarette without feeling like vomiting. Mankind. Why do we not learn from history and be better? Clouds. Literal tons of water just hanging there in the air. When you have a quirk that isn't socially acceptable and anyone you finally confide in are just like, bro, just do it. Own it. That's the point. I can't. Because society will look at me differently. Reminds me of that Simpsons quote. I'm not popular enough to be different. Life. Most of humanity's social norms and customs. If you ever step back and take an impartial look, they make almost no sense at all. Many we do, because that's what we've always done. If I'm not me, why are these the only memories I have? Influencers. Why the peep do they have followers? There are hungry people in the world. Billionaires being able to exploit a tax system and getting away with paying $750 federal tax in some years and zero in others. The Pope who still believes that the earth is flat or refuse to vaccinate their children. Why my own brain hates me so much. Peep anxiety and depression. How most of us common folk are going to be working 40 hours, 5 days a week for the next 50 years, at least. Why is this the system we've decided to hang out hat on? Reality. My answer. There is a state in America where it is illegal to collect rainwater. The Pope's hat. School. Why should we learn things we care about? I learned to code on my own in a couple of months because I cared about learning it. I've forgotten whatever I learned in school a couple of months ago. Collapsing the wave equation with measurement. What does that even mean? Magnetism. Why does my school force the students to keep camera on? My life. Life. If you have added to respect, you get the opposite, disrespect. Works the same for appear in place. But if you add it to stress, you get distress, which is nowhere near the opposite and pretty much exactly the same thing. English WTF. How people are still so willfully ignorant in an age where all the information known is in your pocket. Needing to have X years of experience to get a job in a particular field. But it's impossible to get that experience because nobody offers it without that requirement. Your grammar. Linear functions. QWERTY. The Jacksonville Jaguars, and why they are the way they are. The stock market. So, let me get this straight. I buy stocks because they will hopefully become more valuable. But their value is just that someone else will buy them from me later on for even more money. How is that not just a huge Ponzi scheme? People's job it is to create, draft, and then sign bills into laws. Congress/senators are allowed to own stock in companies that produce weapons of war and directly benefit from military spending. People. You need to put your seatbelts on while driving, but don't need your helmet on while riding a motorbike in US. My existence. You have to pay for your own death. Anti-intellectualism. That the government can't just print more money. How the hell does Rai screw up so badly she actually ends up with a better result than intended? Overdraft fees. Giving the in charge of a grade subject to a literal illiterate of that subject, politicians. How some people can't disagree and still be friends. Cell division. The meeting that I'm attending just now. Having hot and cold taps in different places in different houses. Keep that SPEEP uniform. Like playing school lottery. Politics. Support for socialism and hatred against Trump. Can I post about Republicans? The fact that this unoriginal, boring question has almost 300 awards. Putting milk first and then cereals. A Karen's attitude. The way karma works. The way my anatomy professor gave her exam and questions she asked. 17 over 50. Fpeep me? No. Fpeep her. That poor or middle class people are usually far more generous than wealthy people. I had a job at an airport where I would regularly give rides to customers, and I will never forget the rich bastard that tried to give me a quarter for a tip mid 1980s as opposed to the poor working guy that had dirty though obviously heavily scrubbed calloused hands try to give me a 5 tip for the same service. He and his wife were taking what was probably their first Vegas vacation in like faux rubber, and I was a young father barely making ends meet. Not to be all humble pie, but I gave it back to him and told him to have a drink on me instead. Racism. Emotions. How men can emotionally / verbally / physically abuse their girlfriends and still get to keep them. There are so many videos and stories of victims defending their abusers. I've heard so many stories from my GF about how speepty her friends' boyfriends are, and all I can think about is how fpeeped it is that some people can do that. They can be manipulative, violent peeps and still get to come home to a girlfriend. That shouldn't be the case. That's not the way it's supposed to work. But it is. If you see a saw sawing salsa in the past tense, you saw a saw sawing salsa. Equal gender rights in everything except family law. Trump being president. Consciousness and thought. Like, how does a bunch of chemical reactions driven in millions of individual cells translate into someone being able to contemplate quantum mechanics or even remembering a name? Life. Bitcoin. Internship. Because it's meant as seeing if you like it or not. But when you don't know what you wanna do, school says go to a supermarket or go to somewhere you know. Like the whole purpose of internship just got non-relevant. Why would a wiki, an 8-foot tall wiki, want to live on Ender with a bunch of 2-foot tall Ewoks? Donald Trump. How flat earthers can't see facts or reason. Same for anti-vaxxers. Also same for people who claim corona is fake. Like, WTF people. Can you not see that everything points to you being wrong? President Trump. Honestly, that the more you sleep, the more tired you are. You're always sleepy when you wake up, but you have to wake up at that right hour for your body not to feel sluggish and sick for 4 hours. In German, Gemeindenampfern can mean to drive around someone, but also to knock someone down. Hope Noon gets this wrong when learning to drive. Q sounds like a K, but Qua sounds like Qua. Hacking in movies. Cheating. Obviously it's why hot dogs come in packages of 10, while hot dog buns come in packages of 8. Whenever we clean something / someplace, we make something / someplace else dirty. Why she left the world. That people still haven't realized the imminent threat we pose to the balance of the entire planet's ecosystem and mobilized to prevent our own destruction. How $1,200 could support a family for 10 weeks. Invest in the stock market and keep allowance lower than 30% for a good credit score. Trump's taxes. Bureaucracy. Plumbus. The current American presidency. The comments to this post after you edited the subject. The words regardless and irregardless having exactly the same meaning. Telling your superiors at work that there is no way to get X done in Y time frame due to lack of Z resources, and their response is just get it done. Then they are shocked and upset when it's not done in time. Why selling kidneys is illegal. Less people will die and poverty reduced. What's the problem exactly? Redditt karma. Why is it that a car that is 2 seats and a tiny gap wide and a bus that is 4 seats and an aisle wide both fit in the same sized lane? Why it takes one careless match to start a forest fire, but a whole box of matches to start a campfire? Redditt Gold and all subsequent awards. Life. That Mongolia has a navy. Trump's tax filings. Why? In times of crisis, most of humanity still ruins things by doing whatever the peep it wants despite the warnings. Humans. Existence. Wearing no mask, voting for Trump, denying climate change, buying useless stuff, new iPhone generations, living an unhappy life. You mean like why someone would vote for Trump? Government, politicians, politics. Being a flat earther, anti-vax, anti-mask, anti-intellectual, actively/intentionally/proudly ignorant, pro-Trump. That Americans don't use the metric system. How paradox works. Like Forex, if you go 100 years back and try to kill your grandpa with a gun, would you even be able to fire the gun? You can go into thinking about this for hours, but still no answer. How people are getting so relaxed with COVID-19. There's no cure. We can't just pretend that it stopped existing. The amount of awards on Reddit. There are way too many. Money. It's imaginary. The things people on Reddit will give awards to. Trump supporters.